Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome back. In the last session, we ended with an advice that said, never study a verse in isolation. Today, we come to another essential principle for understanding the Quran. Imagine reading a single sentence from the middle of a long conversation without hearing what came before or what follows. You could easily misunderstand its meaning. The same is true with the Quran. Every verse belongs to a larger message. Every chapter belongs to a larger book, and every concept belongs to the Quran's complete worldview. This is why the Quran repeatedly explains one passage through another. One verse might introduce an idea. Another verse clarifies it. A third limits its application. A fourth might illustrate it through the lives of the prophets. Together, they produce a complete and balanced understanding. This remarkable harmony is one of the Quran's unique characteristics. Its verses do not compete with one another or contradict one another. They complement one another. They illuminate one another. They complete one another. Sometimes people encounter a verse and immediately build an entire belief upon it. But the Quran teaches us to be patient, to gather all the relevant verses, to read them together, and only then to draw the first conclusion. This protects us from misunderstanding. It also protects us from taking verses out of their intended context. Throughout this series, this will be our guiding principle. Whenever we study a Quranic concept, we shall not begin with our opinions. We shall not begin with isolated quotations. Instead, we shall allow the Quran itself to become the interpreter. One verse explaining another until the complete picture becomes clear. This approach does not only deepens our understanding, it also reveals something extraordinary. The Quran speaks with one voice. Although it was revealed over 23 years in different places under different circumstances, its message remains perfectly coherent. The more we study it as a whole, the more clearly this unity appears. This brings us to another important question. If the Quran forms one coherent message, what is the central theme that unites all of its chapters and concepts? Well, so far we learned several important principles. We discovered that the Quran invites us to reflect, that it builds its concept gradually, that related words belong to the same family. and that every verse should be understood in the light of the whole Quran message. Now we bring all of these principles together. Why? Because the Quran is not simply a collection of religious teachings. It presents a complete way of seeing reality. In other words, the Quran presents a world view. We all need answer to certain fundamental questions. Where did we come from? Why are we here? What is the purpose of life? What is good? What is evil? What happens after death? Different civilizations have answered these questions in different ways. The Quran provides its own answers. But unlike many philosophical systems, it does not present them in a single chapter. Instead, its worldview is woven throughout the entire book. Its stories, its commands, its descriptions of nature, its discussions of history, and its promises and warnings all contribute to one coherent vision of life. This is why we must not study one subject in isolation. Every Quranic concept belongs to a larger picture. For example, the concepts of guidance, mercy, justice, faith, and patience all are connected, like the pieces of a great mosaic. Each one gains its full meaning only when seen together. The more we connect the Quranic verses, the more clearly this worldview begins to emerge. We discover that the Quran is not merely giving us information, it is shaping the way we think. It teaches us how to see ourselves, how to see other people, how to see the universe, and ultimately how to see our relationship with our Creator. Understanding this principle is essential. Beginning with our next sessions, we shall start examining the Quran's major concepts one by one. And every concept we study will become another piece of the magnificent worldview. In the next session, we shall learn the practical method we will use throughout the remainder of this series. How shall we study a Quranic concept? By now, we have developed a new way of approaching the Quran. We have discovered that the Quran is not simply a collection of isolated verses. It is an integrated book whose concepts unfold across many chapters, each passage contributing one another piece of the picture. Thank you for listening. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.